Hello, everyone. Thanks for logging on to CBSColorado.com. Time now for a few extra minutes with CU's Athletic Director Fernando Lovo. And we talked a whole lot about the kind of state of current programs during the show. We didn't get to talk at all, which we got to about NIL, about transfer portal. One thing I think I hear over and over again, Fernando, is that it's hard sometimes for fans to feel attached when the players keep turning over and over faster than ever. How do you combat that?
Yeah, it's a fair point, and I think it's a product, obviously, of the ever-evolving landscape that we're living in now. I think first and foremost, we have to do our part as an administration, providing our coaches with the resources to recruit the very best and retain the very best, because our coaches are really good across the board of recruiting and identifying talent. They come here, they develop them, they perform well, and then we got to retain them. And so that's just a new element to it. And I think a lot of folks are still coming around to that, understanding it. And so for me, I think the best thing I can do is provide our coaches with those resources so that they can retain the best. And then beyond that, I've got to do a good job with our fan base, educating Buff Nation about the new age of college athletics and what we're doing to try to prevent that. But sometimes even our best efforts aren't enough, and that's okay, because our coaches are going to do a great job bringing in men and women that are going to represent our program and our institution really well. So hang in there. Federal intervention might be on the way, which might provide us with some cover there. But in the meantime, I'm going to work every day to try to make sure we can retain our very best.
During the show, you said, I don't want to botch the line. Coaches win games. Say for me again.
Players and coaches win games, and administrations win championships.
So can you expound on that a little bit? I mean, where do you see your role in that?
Yeah, I mean, back, a couple of years ago, the element of NIL and rev share wasn't in the equation, and so, it always has been that you have to, I believe, as an AD, develop a culture that permeates success, right? Culture precedes results always. And so for me to develop that culture where we don't accept mediocrity, that we're always starting with the premise of yes, so that we can try to get our coaches, in a space where they're set up to succeed. And now even more so, it requires resources for them to be able to recruit, retain, and field the best teams possible. And so obviously all of our coaches' goals is to win championships. And the reality is now, in order to compete at that level, you need the resources to do so. So that's just another added element of that comment that I made before.
I think being an AD is difficult at any point, but at this point in time, one day, 50 years down the road, we're going to look back, I feel like, at this decade of college athletics and NIL and how it's moving. And one thing that we're seeing at some schools with NIL and with that needing to compete and put these resources into basketball or football. Some schools are having to cut, some other teams that maybe don't generate as much revenue. I know the Olympic programs are important there at CU. How do you balance that?
It's critically important to us. The core, our ethos is we want to be a holistically competitive athletic department across the board. You look at, we have 17 sport offerings. We're pretty lean and mean as it is. I could tell you that I've only had conversations about how do we increase our investment in those sports since I've been here. You look at our women's lacrosse program, went to the Elite Eight, won a Big 12 championship. You look at our ski programs are unbelievable. I mean, I could go down the list. Volleyball, soccer had tremendous seasons. Those brands are really important to us. Those coaches are really important to me, to our department. So I'm going to really try to double down with those teams, because I think the opportunity for us to go raise that trophy in those sports is right there for the taking. And so I'm going to be really intentional about that, because our fans love to come out and support our Olympic sports, our women's sports. And so we're always going to keep that as our North Star, and I'm excited to continue to find ways to pour into them.
I got to imagine your first year, you got so much on your plate. Do you take time to enjoy where you're at all?
I do.
Do you have time?
Yeah, I try to be intentional. My wife sitting right behind us, she's the rock of our family, and she makes sure that I do just that, because this is an amazing place to work, but an even more amazing place to live. And so we've been out and about exploring this great place, and great to see Buff fans across the state. And I've been, it's been busy, there's no doubt, but we try to find time to go out and enjoy this beautiful state as a family. So we'll continue to do so.
Whether it's students or athletes, you always say, when you come over the hill and you see Boulder, it's like sold. Yeah. What was that first coming over the hill moment for you?
It was actually I was I got picked up at the airport, and someone was driving me. I was with my family, and Rick George actually called me, and he goes, "Where are you?" And I said, "I'm on 36." He goes, "How far are you from the hill?" And I said, I'm not sure yet. He goes, well, you'll know when you see it. And this was about 2 minutes later, 3 minutes later, came over that, saw that for the first time. And that is every morning, that's my drive-in. And I'm not kidding. Every morning I look at that. It grounds me. It brings me back and reminds me of the obligation that I have to perform at a high level for Buff Nation, and just to continue to be able to enjoy this beautiful place with those flat irons. It's a opportunity and a blessing of a lifetime.
That is beautiful. And Fernando, we're so lucky to have you here in Colorado. We can't wait to see what the future holds. Thank you for taking the time tonight.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Go Buffs.
Go Buffs, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.